So I have this transparent image that allows me to really kind of see my line work through here, and I've got it to work once, and now I'm going to repeat the process recorded, so months from now if I need it again I can remember how to do this. And this is an image generated from a software from Autodesk called Recap. I've taken it and put it as a PNG into my library and then applied it to a surface of the same size as the image once I had scaled it. So I'm going to go through the entire process of bringing it in, scaling it, and all that to get another one of these. So we're going to do one. That one is here, and you can see it even shows up as a preview when you do add to plan. And so I get this little preview of my image. Now that's the full image, not the transparent one applied to a material. The way to get that transparency is really difficult compared to, because you can't just make a PNG have any degree of transparency natively. You can't just scale a PNG, put in a request, so the more people that put in requests with Chief to have that capability, the better. But for now, what we have to do is take a cross section, and I'm going to do the inside of this wall in the opposite direction. So we'll do a cross section here, and you can put yours in the middle, but I don't like it to get too busy in the inside of my drawing, so I'll leave it on the outside. And then once I've got it there, I'll come back in and I'll want to name it. And so to stay with my naming convention, this is deck end wall from interior grid 1, and it'd be close to that same sort of name, but I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to open it, and we will call this I'm just going to call it section grid 1, and those grid numbers are coming, or grid 7 in this case, from my layout of grids. I don't have it in my Chief drawing, I've got it in my AutoCAD drawing, but there's just 7 segments across here that and the last one's right on this wall, but that's not the greatest of information to get to model this, so I'm going to use just back of the wall and cutting through it to see it fully. And in case ever the fence and stuff is on, I'll pull it back to the edge of the drawing there. So now I have this section. So the next thing to do is to find an image that I want. So I'm going to come over to my project folder, get out of my pictures, and I believe that, let me find it first. Alright, so in here I've got the different grids, and down at grid 7 there I've got some images, and this is deck end wall from interior inclusive, which means I included the stairs, I believe. So I'm going to use this one as what I'm going to bring in. So now that I know where it's located, there's a couple ways to do it, but one, I need to get it to scale first. And so my process to do that is to come to File, Import, and then I'm going to import a PNG. I've got to come out of this, go to grid 7, pick that one, open it, and there it is. Now, what scale this is at may not be precise. Looks pretty close. Usually they're not very close, because when you export from Recap, it's based on where you're zoomed into. So you can see I put a dimension line in here, and so what I first do is come up and I will grab my snipping tool, Windows, and now over on another part of my screen I have this dimension recorded, And so now I know what that dimension is, and I don't have to keep track of when I zoom out, because I need to draw a line across here to start. So I'll go to my line tool, zoom in, and I have a 3D Connects mouse, so when you see me do some pretty kind of interesting movements, it's because I'm using it to do things like come in and zoom back into the end here, and then it's obviously not perfectly straight level, but that's because when you're doing a point cloud, you're grabbing points in the cloud, and even that dimension, I can't say it's given me a great ending point, but somehow I grabbed a point and we called it good. Now there's ways to do this in recap where I can set the X and get a perfectly horizontal one, but this actually works pretty good. It'll be slightly off by the amount of drop over that long distance, but just use the X feature to draw dimensions and you'll get it more exact. I don't want to go through the trouble of creating one right at this moment, because I just need to get this particular thing done. So now that that's there, I can scale it. So if I grab this and the line, and then I do my point to point scale, which it disappeared. Okay, so we're gonna go here, just grab the image, which means my line won't scale with it, which kind of sucks because I can't verify it except to redraw the line, which is just another step. This is one of the things I just don't like about Chief, is all these extra steps. So there's one point, come to the other end, and it doesn't even grab it as an end marker. It's just, I gotta go beyond it to make sure I've grabbed the end. Grab that. It's saying it's 414, and we had 438 and 9/16. So I gotta change this to 438 and 9/16. Say okay, and it will scale my image. And if I look, you'll notice my line's gone. It's down here. So if anything, the best I can do is do a point-to-point move, grab the end, bring it up here, put it on here, and then come look at the other end. And not quite the result I was after. So the point-to-point scale move is just, they think that this works. I don't think it works very well. So I'll show you how I do it typically. So I'm going to bring this out, put it on the end. Close enough. It's going to be slightly off, but we're talking 1/16 of an inch or something. So I'm pretty darn close there. Now, we still know what it's supposed to be. And if I take and just open that line, it'll tell me what it is. So the line's chosen, grab it, and that's what it is. So now, to cheat, I go over and open up. Come on, you be nice to me? Yes, you are. Okay, so I just come in and use Grok. So let's go with, I need a ratio here, so I'm going to phrase this. I was just going into Grok to get that relationship, and I realized that this actually did scale it properly. It just moved it at the same time, because when I come in and check the line distance, it's 438 and 53. Let's go to this guy, and pretty darn close. And that is close enough for the accuracy we're looking for. It's almost 1, so maybe 1/4 inch off or something, but I've also got a drop, so it should be slightly longer. So that makes, but it's hard to tell you know, was it measured from back here, you know, when this arrow's made. It's pretty pixelated, so yeah, you get that close, you're close. So now I've got this scaled right, and that was just one step. So the function worked in Chief. Let me give them that. Now that I have this, I need to add it to my library, and I can do this several different ways, but you can just check its properties and such real quick. Looks fine. Alright, so there it is. I'm going to add it to my library. I keep my stuff up top, and I don't see add to library here. Look at that. It's not giving me the option. So I'll come down to my sections, and I don't even think I can paste it in here. Let me get this figured out because I had it straightened out. Alright, so we've got to do this. All I'm going to do, I'm going to move it over a little bit just so it's not close. I don't need that line. And now that I've got this, I can choose it because that gives me this perimeter. And with that perimeter, I can find those points. There's one, and oops, I didn't exactly. Let's take that. Control Z, let's try again. Control Z, there we go. Running slow today. Okay, there's one. Oop. Come on, there. I don't like the drag, the fact that I can't just click. Oh, so there we go. There's the other side. And to verify it, I'll click on it. You can see my points are in good shape. So that means I can take this and then go to my polyline and turn this into a face. And I don't care what layer it's on at this moment. So there it is as a face, and I just got a 3D solid. If I want to do something else with it, I could, but that'll work for the moment. Okay, so now what I got to do is do something like, I've got this object drawn, it's in that size, so now I'm going to hit my Adjust Material Definitions tool. I'm going to click my object. I'm going to switch over to my texture. I'm going to browse out, find that image file. So this is grid 1, I want grid 7. And then I want that image, open. And you'll see it go here. I can retain, and then I'll stretch it to fit, because I want it to fit that box. And this only gave me 1 because it was close. Sometimes you'll see like 4 repeated, but don't worry about that because we've got to change it anyway. So that is set, and then I need to look at my transparency, which I thought was right here, and I'm not seeing it. Ambient occlusion. I thought transparency was right here. Oh, here we go. No, not seeing it there either. Fusion, roughness, opacity, volume, texture, and the pattern. I don't want to do it because it's not the pattern, it's the texture. That is the so I just hit add to library, and it's kind of here, but I'm going to say okay here. Now you can see you get this weirdness, but don't worry about that. Here it is. It doesn't even have a name yet, but all I'm going to do at the moment is take it up and put it where I can keep track of it easily. And so I'm going to put in my material images, and I'm going to rename it and just call it grid 7. Grid 7. It's a face. North face. So it says on the south elevation, but it's looking north. So that's kind of what that means to me. Now that I have that material, I can apply it to here. Come on, paint on there. Yeah, it's showing that it's there, but it's not giving me the transparency control. I need to see what's going on. So the part of the problem is that I'm on vector view. That's just the default when you create a section. So if I change it over to normal view, you can see it, but I don't have control over the transparency, which is what I'm after. And that's quality. That has nothing to do with transparency. So I need to see what I did different on the last one and figure it out. Okay, so more of my problem is that I needed to go in my library browser here. Might be able to do it about anywhere, but new and then material. I didn't start here. So this is that grid, oops, need a G on that, grid 7 north base. I'm going to call it MAT for material just to differentiate it from the actual piece. And then go to my library. No, I don't want a pattern. I want a texture. Then browse out. Now I can find it. We're already in the right location. Open. And now I need to make sure this stretch to fit so I can fit it to that piece. This is where in this material I had the options to change its transparency. There it is. And I use 60. And we'll go 60%. Now I can get this piece here and I just hit paint and boom, there it is at 60%. So that was the old one. This is the old color. If I painted it back, you'll see it doesn't change size or anything. It's just that is a material instead of just applying a PNG. So you do need to do new material if you want it to be translucent or transparent or however you want to call it. And then you can come in, you can put a line back on here. So a line from this wall over, and if I had something to go exactly to, I could over there. But we're going to just grab that. That's the image. And then I'm going to point to point and get it over to where it belongs. And then I'll move it up or whatever I need to get the height aligned. So basically this is just an alignment issue now. But you can start to see some of the differences in my model versus reality, which is what I'm after. I need to know how things are looking, because the new deck is going to be concrete, but for now we're just drawing it like this. And then you can see it's settled significantly, and so trying to figure all this stuff out, it's just invaluable to be able to take this and move it. And so I should even be able to do, if I were to grab this, so it's still selected, so I could just do an estimation of, okay, I know I've cut through here, this is probably deck, that could be deck. Let's come out here, there's the top of the stair, so I'm going to go with this one. This is probably part of the wall and the trim at the bottom of the wall, so we're going to call this more solid color deck. It's dropped a lot out here, so I'm going to come next to the building and then do my last point to point from here up to there, and I should be pretty darn close to seeing what I've got. And now if this is truly, let's see what we've got. I'm going to open it up, and am I working with a picture file box specification. So it looks like, oh, there it is. It's right there. I moved the wrong object. This was behind it. So I can just delete that. And then just do the same thing with this. So it's just, I was wondering why it didn't show up transparent or translucent, but it was because it was hidden behind it, and they're not truly translucent. So this kind of sucks because I'm not working with a real translucent material. It did seem like there was, I could turn it to super thin, but I can't truly make it a transparent material. And so I have to put it in the background, but at least it's shaded down to where I can see over it instead of it being a whole bunch of really bright lines. So if I figure that out, I will amend this or redo it, the video. But I think that's what we're stuck with at the moment. So I'm going to go from point to point, grab the end of that line again, come over, put it on the wall, and then now that it's lined up here, I need to come in, find that place where I was happy with that top of wall, top of deck, and do point to point, move it down. And so I'll just say about there, down to there, and that's what I've got to work with. So now you can at least see through it. I can see my line work, and I can add the second story. I can see how things are starting to turn out here with my brick doesn't look so good there. So either I've got a scaling issue or I set it in the wrong place. So I'll figure all that out. But nonetheless, that's the process. And maybe I'll redo this one at some point. But I wanted to record how I'd gotten this at least to the point where I got it. And we'll go from there.